Hey, everybody. Welcome again to another Thursday live stream. Thank you for, there we go. Thanks for joining us again here today. Um, my background's not doing as well as it normally does. I'm sitting in a different spot, so the background filter is not working quite as well as normally. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate everybody being here. As you guys know, we're going to be talking about some graduation gifts today. In particularly talking about some garden flags, like welcome signs and that sort of thing that do really well every year and are kind of, on the right track to be picking up as we go into the graduation season. So still not bad to do some Mother's Day designs, depending on if you're selling on Etsy or on Shopify. If you're on Shopify, I would say, you still have time to get some Mother's Day listings up and going. If you are selling on Etsy, you're kind of on that bubble that is probably going to be better served to start spending more of your time on graduation or Father's Day gifts than it is on Mother's Day kind of at this point, with it being just a little bit over a month away. So that's kind of why we're talking about some graduation stuff today. So I see people are leaving comments. I can hear you fine. Awesome. How did you know I was about to ask that? Almost like you guys have been here before. So thanks for joining. I see Jerry, Phil, Elizabeth, Annette. Awesome. You guys are active in the chat today. I love it. Very good. All right, let me pull up my screen. Going to go through a little bit of research stuff first on kind of what I'm looking at there. And then we're going to get into a design. This particular design is one that has several different ways, I guess you could say, of being able to do the personalization. So we're going to start with kind of our base file first. And then as depending on the time and where we're at, then I will also go into more detail on some of the different pieces that you can customize on it and some of the things that that you can do there. So let me pull it up and we will get started here. All right, and let me share my screen. Oh, okay. That one's got to go here. All right. Share screen. All right. Let's start here if that will show. Perfect. So this is just a quick little snapshot of kind of where we're at and some of the things that we're looking at for graduation. So this is graduation welcome sign. You can see this is kind of one of those that that you'd kind of call that golden keyword area where good search results, but you still have low competition. If you look down here at the bottom, you can see that Etsy competition really is still pretty low. And kind of as we're going through some of the search results, that kind of backs that up as well. There's not a ton of listings for some of these. So your competition's lower, but the number of searches is still pretty decent. And as you can see on the kind of graph here, it is we're kind of at the start of where we're going to start really kind of seeing that rocket ship with the demand really starting to pick up on graduation items. So the first thing that I did here, so this is actually I went a little bit more specific. I did look at some, actually, do I have that? Let me pull that up too, because I wanted to show you some of the search results for the graduation welcome sign as well. So let's go graduation welcome sign. So a lot of things here that are kind of used for like graduation parties with either the name and or the photo of the person that's graduating. And then a lot of different options there on some of these as well for that. So usually what I would do is pull this up. And then, as you guys know, I always like coming over here to the filters section and taking a look here at if you hit star seller here, And then up in the URL bar, if you just change the word star to best, you can take a look at some of the best sellers. So both of these are, this is very close to what we're going to be building today. Are these similar to these two? They are both very popular designs. And I have a few other examples of ones laid out here. I was trying to find one and I don't see it now. I don't see it now, but it was a really neat idea, and it was very similar to like this style here, where you have the image of the graduate in the middle, but they had it on a plain white canvas, and the image a lot smaller with maybe a little bit of text around the outside. I've seen the same thing done before for like weddings, especially the like rehearsal dinner, where they'll have a picture of the couple, and then you can kind of sign all the way around it. So you're kind of using it as a guest book. I saw that same concept done on a graduation sign, which I thought was a really neat idea for it as well. Let's see here. Wanted to show this one. So here's more of kind of like the vinyl style. I guess they call it coroplast, similar to what you see lots of kind of yard signs like that on. This is one that they're giving multiple different options for. I guess they have most of it listed down here under personalization. So not only the names, but also letting you change some of the lettering, coloring, as well as the background colors, so they can kind of match school colors with that. Here's another one that is a yard sign that I really like, that is showing multiple different design options here. So this is a good example of something you could do with the add variants functionality, and adding in the 6 different design options here that they can choose from. And then it's probably going to be this one here. Yep, is going to then show what each one of those design elements are, so they can kind of see, what correlates to which design. Here's one more, going to be pretty similar to the one that we are creating today, except what I liked that they had here is the option right here from the variant selection to be able to select the background color as well as the like accent and trim color. You'll notice on this, they also have a custom option, so that if they want to ask for any custom colors, they can do that, but they have kind of preset list of colors that's going to fit the majority of people's needs. The nice thing with doing it that way is you're able to automate the majority of the process, right? So if they're selecting both colors and putting in the text that they want personalized, that's all going to come through correctly. And it's going to set all of that for you, so you're not having to make those changes. So that is another kind of nice to have. And then here is one more before we kind of get into an actual example here. This is very similar to what I thought we would kind of look at today. So on this one, they have the colored background. And this one, they're also giving it in the option if they want to purchase the flag size as well as just the garden flag. So they have the larger flag version here that you can choose to purchase if you wish as well, which I like. From here, they're just kind of selecting the different background colors from the main choose your background color here. You can, again, kind of see the different color options here that they have available. And then they're also letting them choose the color of the cap as part of the personalization field here as well. So you can certainly do this. If you're going to do the personalization on the cap, you would want to set it up as clip art, which would maybe add a little bit more work as orders come in. You need to make sure the right clip art selection is selected, but it's still a pretty easy, pretty quick process. So I wouldn't be afraid to do that, especially if you're not, having tons of orders to process every day. That can be a good thing that can kind of set you apart. The background colors here, you could certainly have pre-done in here as well and customized. Depending on whether or not you wanted to offer this as the garden flag or the kind of larger banner flag, you could also change this, um, the second variant option here, to actually be a selection for the cap color. So it would require some setup and it'd be a lot of different variants that need added. But the nice thing with that is you would be able to set it up once, and then it's a lot more automated kind of as you're receiving orders and that sort of thing as well. So um, we're going to walk through the kind of simpler example of the two to begin with. And keep the cap white. And then I can talk through or show a few examples as well if you guys want to see how you could do the cap personalization as well. So it's kind of building on it. So when you're looking at a design like this, if you're getting overwhelmed, or, how do I do this? One, besides, reaching out to support, we're happy to help walk through anything. But two, start with the part that you know how to do and build on it, right? So if you create the basic design and just keep the cap as white, or maybe have the cap match the background color that you pick that goes behind the name, that's gonna, that's gonna capture the majority of what people are looking for, and is pretty easy to do. And then if you decide, maybe you start getting sales and you decide you want to kind of take it to the next level, you can always come back in and add in the clip art options or any of that sort of thing as well, fairly easily without a lot of issue there. So that is kind of where we're going to start. And then we'll kind of go from there. Let's see. Did we have any questions before I jump in here? Hey, Jennifer just said just got an order for a graduation flag. Perfect. It's that time of year. It is right around the corner. Okay, let me pull up Anywhere POD here, and we can start taking a look at some of our options. Okay, so here we are in Anywhere POD. So I'm going to start out up here and just do a search here for garden. And this is going to show me all of the garden flags that we have from all of our suppliers. So we see we're kind of ranging in price anywhere. If you have Printify Premium, this one from Pick the Gift, they have been a good supplier that we've heard a lot of good things about. Starting at $657. You also have options from Reliable POD and T-Launch that are available as well. So we're going to get started here with the one from Pick the Gift here and Printify. So I'm going to go to Start Designing. Now I want to create my design. To start off, I'm going to create it in Canva. So I'm just going to come to the design area here, and I'm going to click this button right here that says Create New Design. This is going to open up kind of a blank canvas design for me inside of Canva at the right dimensions that are needed for that product. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it here. If you wanted to, you could go download the actual template from Printify and kind of load that in here and lock it to the background, so you kind of have an idea of where placement and everything is. I'm probably just going to kind of eyeball that here for now, just so I know I'm kind of getting in the neighborhood, and then you can always make adjustments after you kind of see what it looks like as you start to import to Anywhere POD. So the other thing that you can do, and I want to be very clear here, that we are not trying to completely copy another design. We want to use other designs for inspiration. So if I just come over here to the one that we're looking at again for inspiration, and I put that in here, again, I would not try to bring this in here to completely make a one-for-one copy, but sometimes it's helpful if you are looking at your design and you're kind of going, man, how's that fitting? That feels a little small or a little big, more for like sizing or placement or that sort of thing. It can be nice sometimes to bring the design in, and you can kind of lower the opacity on it and lock it to the background, and it kind of helps with some of your layout sometimes. Also, if you're wanting to kind of match specific colors, it can be a good way to just kind of bring in that design and be able to use that to get a specific color out of it and that sort of thing. So that's an option there as well. The other thing that you can do, I know a lot of times we get questions on what font is used here, what isn't used here, all that sort of thing. So one new way that I've actually used to start getting and trying to figure out some fonts that look good, it usually does not give me the exact font that is used in another design, which is perfectly fine because, like I said, I don't want to necessarily copy this design, but using it for inspiration, like I know I'm probably going to want some sort of scripty style font here at the top, right? So I have that design still copied. Let me see here. Let me change my screen here for a second because I want to jump over to a different. Is it here? There we go. Okay, so I just went and copied that design. You can actually paste that into something like ChatGPT, and then I can say what fonts are similar to graduate. So that was the top line that said graduate. And you can put that in here. Again, it's not necessarily going to give me the exact same font that was used, but here you can see other similar fonts. They can at least kind of get you started down the right track. So you can start looking up some of those fonts, seeing if they're ones that you like and are available in Canva. I've also had luck in here asking it for, instead of just what font is used, and then asking specifically for fonts that are available in Canva. And sometimes that gives me more specific results to ones that are used in Canva. So that's something that can come in handy. I just wanted to kind of drop that little tip to you guys because that can be a helpful way to figure out fonts sometimes when you're trying to figure out a good font to use. Okay. So let's get back to our design here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this for now. And I'm going to go and lock that just so it's back there in case I need it for anything. That'd be this one. Okay. So it's there, but is locked, so isn't going to be in our way. So I'm going to start off just kind of setting our background color. And you can see since I have that, even though transparency is turned off, I have all of the colors that it's saying are associated kind of with that image. So if I want to select that same blue background color, I can easily do that there. So we're going to start with our text here at the top. So we're going to come over here to add a text box. And I think that just said graduate. And let's come in here and we'll change our font. The one I was going to use here is Allura. And again, I'm just kind of eyeballing this for now. And then as I get the other elements on there, I can adjust kind of the whole thing, even all together as I need to if I want to. Okay, so then we want to, let's see, I think it's here under effects. We want to put a little bit of a curve, not quite that much. There we go. So get a little bit of a curve on that here. And then we're going to kind of have our hat that is going to kind of be down here in the curve. So if we come in here and do a search for graduation cap, you have a lot of different options. You're going to want to use one here under graphics because that way you're going to be able to change the colors on it. So to start, I'm going to make all of these white. So we're just going to have a white cap to start with. And we'll bring that up and kind of nestle it in right under graduate there. And then underneath that, I think we're going to have our class of, which is going to be the same style text as that Allura. So we're going to come back here to class of. That's weird that it made that box so small? There we go. All right, let's get this shrunk down here. Now you will notice our kind of example design had glyphs, had a font with glyphs off of the edge of the class of part, which does look really, really nice. But just with the time and everything wasn't something I was going to go through and show today. But if you have a font that has glyphs, you can get into Canva. That is certainly would probably be something worth doing there. Okay, so we got class of, and now we've got the 2025 portion. And that is actually, even though it kind of looks like image element is actually just text using the font. It was something with college. Was it Wildcat? Yeah, Wildcat College. So we can take that and make that bigger now as well. Yeah, it kind of feels a little bit large. There we go. So we'll get that centered up. So now we have the personalization pieces that we need to get in here. So we're going to have the name with kind of that gold box that's on the background. So to add that gold box, I'm just going to push R on my keyboard. That's going to add one of these rectangle boxes here to the design that I can resize and put in how I want. In this case, I'm just going to do one solid rectangle. You'll notice on our sample design, it kind of had a smaller bar at the top and on the bottom. You can add those. It'd just be another rectangle. It's just really skinny, essentially. So we're going to select the color here, just like that. And then we're going to go with another text field. And let's just use, whoops. Yep. We'll use Allison. And the font we're going to use here is League Spartan. And we're going to make this be uppercase. And we'll put that inside of there and get that centered up. Okay, perfect. And we have that, the width of the kind of gold box there as well. So I think the only other real element we need is going to be the text at the bottom. Now, I just used that League Spartan. To tell you the truth, I have not checked to see if that is a font that is available inside of Anywhere POD yet. So that'll be something we'll have to check to make sure, but it's a fairly standard block font. So even kind of the default font would be, I think Calistoga or something like that would be probably completely fine for that one. Okay, so now we just have text at the bottom. Going to be added like all the rest. I kind of already have one here. And the font that we use on this one is just Playfair Display. So now that I have all of those elements here, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of spacing here to kind of fill everything back out. Because some of that I had probably a little bit tighter than it needed to be. Ended up with a bit more space here then. There we go. That's looking good as our base design. Now, there's several different elements here that I don't want to just completely import into Anywhere POD. I don't know that this 2025 font is necessarily there. I know that this gold background is not something that is available in, it's not going to import correctly if we try to import all of this just as individual layers. Let me rename that so I keep track of that. So what I'm going to actually do now is create a second page. And I'm going to take my two personalization fields. So it's going to be the name here and the school. And I'm going to copy those. And I'm going to come down here to page 2. And I'm going to paste those here. So now I've got my full complete design here at the top. that I'm going to remove Allison and I'm going to remove the school name from. So now my first page is just a base, just the base design without any personalization. And then page 2 is going to have my personalized elements on it that we can import as layers. So now that we have that basic design created, let me jump back over here to Anywhere POD. And let's refresh this page. Okay, so I'm going to go add from Canva. And it is the top one here. So I'm going to import that first as a PNG. Hang on, is that the right? Okay, let's see. It should be. Sometimes Canva updates immediately. Sometimes it doesn't, and it's not showing my second page here. So let's see. I think if I still import, and we will say import with background, because we don't want this to be transparent. So this should import, as long as it's grabbing page 1. It should have given me the page number there, but Canva is a little bit slow to update. Okay, we got it now. So that is going to be my kind of base design without the personalization. And now I can add in my personalized layers. So I can say add layers. And again, it's not giving me a page number here. So Canva is not updating and is going to make this more difficult on me. So instead of waiting for that to come up, normally that comes up right away. I have done this dozens and dozens of times. And every time I add a new page in Canva, it's available to be imported like almost immediately. So I am kind of surprised that it is not. I'm going to try something else here. I'm going to go out of the design in Canva. Okay. Let's see. Now, let's go ahead and do a refresh here. Add from Canva. There we go. So what I did, I just went to Canva, went out of the design, like went to the homepage in Canva, and then that kind of triggered it on Canva's end to save, I guess. So we'll do import PNG. We want to import with a background. So again, this is going to import our base design. And now we're going to use add layers here, and we're going to go page 2, and we're going to say import layers. And this should import our 2 text layers for us. Now it's only 2 text layers, so it's not that big of a deal if it doesn't, or if there's additional changes that we need to make to it. It's not that big of a deal. So for example, here you'll see my name here we don't have that font, so it imported just as Calistoga for me, which is fine. And probably what I would end up selecting if I had to select one that was available in Anywhere POD anyway. So that's not a big deal. You'll also see here, it did not give me looks like it selected a similar font of Play. Do we have Play Fair? We do have a Play Fair display, so I can go ahead and change that font here. It did not size it correctly though. So you'll see this font is a lot smaller. So I can go ahead and start bumping that up, and let's see where we need to get to here. Yeah, something like that. And I think my S on school should be capitalized. So we'll mark that as personalized. We'll make sure to mark our Allison as personalized, and those are good to go. So you can see that again, the text didn't 100% quite import exactly how I wanted it to, but a couple quick clicks, it is pretty easy to be able to update that. Now, one other thing I want to note before I save this, if you guys haven't noticed, we recently just launched an update that you can now select sizes on products, certain products. You can actually select the sizes here. So this is in particular useful if you're doing things like wall art or cell phone cases or that sort of thing. You can actually select any of the sizes that you want. Instead of just giving you every size every single time, you can select the sizes so it's not giving you all of them for everything. So we'll just do the one size on this one, and that's all set. So we'll now go to create product. And as usual, this is going to create the artwork and mock-ups available for us, and we'll have all that available here. You can see I left enough room at the top and bottom. You may need to make some adjustments there if you got too close to those margins. That's where having that design template might help you if you start running into that issue. So what I would do from here, depending on, like I said, you have several different options on how you can set up your variants for this to give them more color options. We'll go ahead and just call this one our navy, and we'll add another one here. So I'll hit save on that, and that's going to be our navy option. So now I'm going to jump back over to Canva here, and I am going to duplicate this page. That was my main design. And then I'm going to come into my background color here, and we're going to change the background color. Maybe we'll do like this lighter blue, and then I'll select my square here, and let's do the, say we do the darker blue on that one. So now this is going to be our new page 2. So just to make sure that this is going to save and everything correctly, since I had an issue with that updating a second ago, I am just going to kind of come over here to home and then come back into the design, make sure that that loads then, so that when I come into Anywhere POD now, I can go to add variants, and we want the same garden. So I'm just going to do a search for garden here. So we get the same garden banner from Pick the Gift. And here, what I'm going to actually start with now, since I've got my text and everything the same, nothing's going to change with my personalized text. The only thing that is going to change is going to be that kind of base background design. So instead of re-importing, I'm actually going to do an add from library. And I'm going to say use in design on this last one here. And if I had downloaded the that second page from Canva, I could come here and do a choose file and re-upload. But in this case, I'm just going to delete that, and I'm going to go to add layers, and we want page 2, and we want that as a PNG with the background. And now that will import that design here. I think it's going to put it at the top, and I'll just need to move it down here below my other personalized elements so it is there correctly. You will notice when I imported that text layer, originally it actually set a background color here, which wouldn't hurt anything because our design is taking up the full design area. So it wouldn't necessarily hurt anything, but I'm going to go ahead and remove that just for clarity's sake there. So my personalization fields are already set up and good to go. So I'm going to select update product. And now that's going to have that as, oh, I left that 24 by 35 on. So we'll get rid of that guy. That was that extra size that I had unchecked when I did the first one, but did not when I did this one. So we'll just remove that. And now this blank one here, this is going to be my light blue option, and we'll hit save. So you can go through and do that same process and add an option for every color that you want to offer. Like I said, if you're not doing different sizes, you could even add in a cap color. It would just, you need to go through that add variants process several different times to get them all added. But once it's set up, it's kind of there and set up and is all set for you. So these variant options will now show whether you're on Etsy or Shopify. This same process is going to work the same kind of on both platforms. So, all right, what questions do you guys have? Happy to answer any questions. If there's anything, there's a few different next steps that we could do here, such as the cap color or anything like that. So if there's anything more you want to see, any questions you have on what I've done so far, happy to help answer any questions that I can. Right. Let's see here. Yeah, Stephanie says I need to learn to level up my AI game. It's something I have come to rely on more and more. It's kind of funny. Like if you would have said 5 years ago that you're going to use AI more than, I mean, in a lot of ways, as much or more than Google for a lot of stuff, it really can do. It really can do some amazing things. Let's see here. Jennifer has a great tip here to niche down in the graduation niche. I've had success with PhD, master's degree, preschool, and even kindergarten graduation. That's an excellent point and a really, really good idea. Those are so like everyone thinks about graduation, they're thinking just high school or maybe college graduation. Getting more specific like that is a really, really good idea, and can certainly help out, and could be something like if you end up with a design um, that lends itself well to, like, maybe there's an element or two that you could add to like the PhD side or to a specific degree even, or anything like that. You could even have those as individual elements here that the customer can select from. Really helps to add that personal touch and stand out from other people. The flag is looking really good, Chris. Awesome. I'm glad, because I am design. If I can design, I can tell you anybody on this phone call can design. Like I always say, I make stuff work. The look good side, like that's not necessarily my forte. So um, don't get don't get overwhelmed by the prospect of having to design if that's not something you're naturally good at. It's still you can still do it. I get stuck in my regular font choices. This is nice to learn to mix it up. Yes, that is cool. Having AI be able to read images like that is really, really cool. Um, and placeholder names. The top 10 names get boring. That's a good idea too. Use AI, I'm guessing you're saying, to get um, uh, new placeholder names that you can use, so it's not the same ones every time. That's a really good idea, especially I forget who, actually I think it might have been George that mentioned it last week on our live stream about using like if you're doing like a new mother design, look up, like if you're doing something for new mothers in 2025, look up what the most commonly used names were in 2025 and use those as the placeholder names, because that's going to catch somebody's eye a lot more if it matches already the person that they're looking to buy it for. That's really going to catch their eye. So I'm assuming we'll have to create variations for each school color combo. Yeah, so that's where you have a lot of different options that you could do, right? So like even my background color and my um, the kind of rectangle here color, you could make those and add those as clip art that the customer can either put in the personalization field on Etsy, or that they could select in a drop down on Shopify. So again, you can either do like what I did here was kind of pre-built color combinations that just look good and kind of work well. But if you want it to be able to match the school specifically, again, you can do that as either clip art, or even just tell them in the personalization field to enter the color that they want. Have it be like the one listing we looked at the beginning that had a custom option. Add that as a custom option. If you're doing it as custom and it's something you need to spend a few more minutes on, one, I think a lot of people would be willing to spend a minute or two on an order to be able to get extra orders. Also, that's something you can charge more for. So have your preset ones be one price. And if you want to charge a little bit more for the custom one, that's easy enough to do as well. Yeah, Annette said she had the same issue with Canva not updating. Yeah, clicking out and back in seemed to do it. So just kind of going to the homepage seemed to do that for me. Can you show how you did the personalization layer again? Yes. So what I did there was in Canva, I created a new page with just my personalization elements on it. And I could have even on here uh, probably removed that background color, but I'll leave it there for this sake. And then when I added that, so Let me go to add new. So it's as a new product. So I'll go garden here. So again, going through how I added the personalization layers and the changes I had to do there. So here we're going to say add from Canva. I'm not going to worry about the base design. We kind of covered that a couple of times, but I think my personalization is on the third page now. So I'm going to say import layers. And this is going to give me the name. It came in correct. I didn't need to make any changes to that one. I just needed to mark that as personalized. On the school name, it was too small. So I need to mark that as personalized. And then I also came down here and increased that font to something that works a little bit better. And then it also selected play instead of play fair on my font. So I went to play fair display, and I think I did the more bold one. That was 700. So that was the two changes I need to do to be able to get my personalization set up in there. Is the reversible comforter setup fixed? Yes, that should be all good to go. So those that don't know, on the reversible comforters from Usha, there was a few changes that had to be made for those to be able to be built correctly. Kind of the way they had those set up were a little bit different than how they had the other comforters set up, and we weren't expecting that. So had to make a few changes there to get those in, but those should be in and working correctly now. So those are available to you if you want to use those. I wanted to mention too, taking a step back again real quick, when I imported those as layers, it recognized that background color that I had set. So that was why it got set here on the background color. So if you don't want that, you just need to remove that from the background color there at the top. In this case, you can't see it because my text is white. But normally it's going on different color background. So that's where that background color got set that I was mentioning a few minutes ago. All right. So is there a way to swap out background color after order is placed? For example, in the personalization field on Etsy, they could type the desired color and then we change it. Yes. So when an order comes in, you have the option to edit personalization, which is what you normally use. You also have the option to edit artwork, which will kind of give you the full artwork builder like I was just in, with the background color listed at the top. So then you could just add in that background color there at the top and be able to process that order pretty easily. So can we ask it to do the background and then do the contrast color separately? When you say ask it to do you mean can you have those listed as separate variants? Is that what you're asking? And yes, so you could either do those as separate variants or you could do those as clip art. Can you direct me to videos on how Anywhere POD works and what the plans offer? Yeah, and I'll go through the plans for you here. Just a real quick overview for everybody too. Here on the left under training videos, that will take you to our YouTube channel and kind of go over. We have a video on a lot of the different features. There is a good kind of overview video that's listed in there that is a good one to kind of get started with. So if you have any questions on that at all, feel free to reach out. If you need any help, feel free to reach out to support. There's a contact us link down here in the bottom right. We're more than happy to help anytime. On the plans, there's basically 3 levels. The first one is just the basic plan that allows you one print on demand supplier and only text personalization. With the kind of middle tier plan, you get text and image personalization and 2 print suppliers. And then the last plan kind of is everything. So that's the one that has the mockup features. It's got the Canva integration, unlimited suppliers. It's got live previews available for Shopify. It's got the Etsy analyzer. Basically, that's everything, right? Unlimited use of everything on the Pro Plus plan. Let's see here. So they select the background color and then go ahead and select the foreground color, or did I miss that step when you were talking? So the way I have it set up here is that these colors are essentially tied together, which you can either do it that way or you can add them as separate colors so that you could have essentially two colors listed here. You could have a like background color, and then you could have like for the name background color. Name those fields whatever you want and add any of the options that you want for both of those. You'll just need to do the add variants functionality for each combination of any of those that you want to offer. What provider are you using for this demo? So this particular one is Pick the Gift that is through Printify, but it's also available there's one available from T-Launch and then also one available from Reliable POD. I use chat to give me the most common color combinations and colors for schools, and it could get complicated. Yes, it could get complicated. I would not recommend trying to do all of them. Pick some of the most popular ones, similar to, let me see if I still have that up here. Yeah, so there's a few of them here. So like this one, which was kind of the main one that we were mimicking off of, they're only having you select a background color, and then you can put in the cap color on the personalization. So it doesn't look like, or at least it's not clear to me, if they are doing a different color for, or even letting you select colors for the actual like background behind the name. Now, if you take a look at this one, they're kind of letting you select both. So they have background color option and the accent trim option. You, like I said, would need to create the variant options for both. The other thing I like that they did here is that they also added in a custom option. So that kind of lets them to be able to select whatever they want. So if they want to make sure to match exactly specifically their school, they can select that custom option and be able to have more flexibility that way. Funny, in Australia and UK, graduation usually means from university. Yeah, so I mean, in the US, it's kind of multiple different things. I would say traditionally, the traditional idea of graduation, people are thinking of from college or university, or from high school. High school graduation is a really big thing around here and in the States. But it's also getting more common, like Jennifer was saying earlier. I mean, there's even people celebrating kindergarten graduation now, and almost even like every grade, different graduation. So there's a lot of different areas that you can go in it. I would say that the two biggest kind of areas or markets are still going to be the high school and the college. Love the idea with the most common school color combinations. Yep. Yeah, tying off that one in school is what we attended from age. Yeah, so I mean that's similar here. It's just that some parents tend to celebrate the each individual milestone a little bit more, I guess. All right, college bound flags are popular in my shop too. Very cool. Let's see here. The custom backdrops look interesting too. Been researching those after I ordered one for my son's graduation party last year. Huge margins. Very cool. Can we have more than one Etsy shop attached to Anywhere POD? I'm assuming that's an extra charge for a second shop. Actually, no, it is not. On Etsy, you can have as many shops as you want. So up here, as long as you're on the Pro Plus plan, if you come up here to your store name here at the top, you can go to create new store here, and that's going to give you essentially a whole new dashboard here that you'll be able to connect any of your Etsy store and then any of your fulfillment providers. It can be the same accounts that you have it tied to another store, or if you need to keep those separate for some reason too, you can do that as well. Let me select. That was that question there. Everything is a celebration now. My cousin likes to say, someone burps when we have a party. That's funny. This was a lot of fun. I just signed up for Pro today. Thanks for the class. Awesome. Thank you for joining, and I'm glad to hear that you had a good time. That's what it's all about. We're all about having fun. Don't overlook shot glasses in that niche too. Speaking of burping, that is actually very true. Like for graduation, probably not so much high school graduation. This would definitely be more the college graduation, but um, shot glasses, beer glasses, wine glasses. I mean, those kind of make sense for those types of things as well. And think of other things that like people would um, need or use. So like it's a great like gifting season, right? It's nice because it's not just one day. Graduations are kind of spread out like across the country. So different schools have different time. Some of them will start as early as May and kind of go through into June, depending on the school and when their graduation is. It's also one of those holidays that a lot of times people are invited to multiple different graduation parties and they're not able to attend all of them. So they're likely to buy more than one or buy a gift after the fact and give it to them at a later date because they couldn't make their party. So that kind of extends the season a little bit more. So it's great for gift giving, but it's also nice. Something like this, it's also something that people advertise a lot, right? Like you don't see like for Christmas, you don't see people putting out, Christmas banners in their yard as much as they do for the graduation time because people are proud. They want to announce to the community and to everybody that, hey, little Johnny's graduating from high school and is, whatever university bound. So it's good for things like that and for things that they'll use like at parties as well. So, like say a serving platter from Decoplate, or I don't know, lots of other things that can be used not just as a gift, but as like party supplies as well, or something they would have like on display at the party can do well for those types of things as well. Okay, what awesome on the additional Etsy shop thing. Yes, I think my current shop is hurting because I got hit with unnecessary IP infringements because I had tags I shouldn't have. The product itself was fine. Yeah, so adding another shop certainly no issue and won't cost you anything more if you're on that Pro Plus plan. Proud parents make great buyers. Absolutely. Yep. That's why like, first time mom and grandma's garden and like all those things. Cause, like you say, proud parents. I'm really enjoying the personalization options with Anywhere POD. Very, very cool. Glad to hear it. Thanks for joining us. Custom mason jars. Yeah, that would be cool. I was asked to find mason jar pour so we can do a moonshine sampling this weekend. Nice. I like it. Yeah, those would be cool. Like, especially if they were laser engraved, those could be really cool. I don't think. Well, looky there. There is one with a handle and a lid and straw. Kind of interesting. So yeah, there you go. There's your mason jar. If you don't have Pro Plus plan, what does it cost to connect, say, Etsy and a Shopify store? So Etsy and Shopify currently are two separate subscriptions. You can connect them both to the same account and to the same store, meaning that if you build a product, you can then select, actually here, let me go back to the product that we just created and I'll show you. So here I can create a new Etsy listing. I also have Shopify connected to this account. So without having to like duplicate or move it anywhere, I can also push it directly to Shopify. But that does require having a subscription both for Etsy and one for Shopify to be able to do that. About pets graduating from obedience school. You say that, but I guarantee you that would sell. Pet gifts are right up there with kids gifts, and from graduating from obedience school could even be used as like a prank, for a dog that doesn't behave. You give it to somebody as a joke. You're joking, but I really think that you're actually onto something there. Let's see here. Moonshine jars will be trending soon. Watch, get ahead of it. There you go. All righty. Any other questions? I think I have run through them all. All right. And we are right at the 1 hour mark. So I appreciate everybody from joining today. I hope this was helpful. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't here in YouTube. That helps us out a lot. And also, I always forget to ask, I'm getting better about it, but if you're on Shopify and you don't mind, go to the Shopify App Store and leave us a review. It is a big help, and we would really appreciate it. So if you haven't done that yet, take a few minutes. We appreciate you taking the time to do that. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us today. It's been another fun one, and we'll see everybody next week. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care. Bye.